welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. We are here at the site of the main quest, where we want to look into Snowcloak from the other side. Ah, the guests of House Photons, accompanied by the Azure Dragoon, no less. I cannot imagine what brought you out this far, but you are welcome to enter the tunnels if that is your will. Assuming the Akafar beacon still functions, and we must pray to the 12 it does, we shall arrive at our destination in mere moments. Though I do not expect to be greeted by the primal Shiva, we should nevertheless be prepared for a frosty reception. The heretics are not like to rejoice at the appearance of uninvited guests, particularly ones with our history. Not wrong, Avenue. Let's go in. An impressive structure. I wonder how many ages it has endured. I just wish we could look around here a little. Maybe you should ask its occupants. They seem a friendly bunch. Yeah, not friendly. Dogs of Ishgard, is it not enough that you banish our beloved saint? Will you not be satisfied until the ice is slick with the last drop of our blood? Stay your weapons, we come under the flag of parley. We wish only to speak with your mistress that we may broker a peace. Do you think us fools, boys? It will take more than honeyed words to earn our trust. You walk with a dragon slayer, and we know all too well what he is capable of. My reputation precedes me. They give us little choice. Come, brothers! May dragon wings bear us to victory! You will not defile this sacred place a second time! No, wait! We did not come here to fight! Waste no more words on them. They are deaf to reason.
Your guard is down.
You have a cane, you are likely a healer. Fireboy healer and blind. By the fury, they partake of the blood of dragons. 7 healths. Can dragon blood truly bring about such a transformation? You should not have come here, Ishgardians. You are fortunate indeed. Behold the true power of our faith. 12 for Fent! At last, the foe I might sink my lance into.
Know your folly. Focus. Release!
Bring him down. I don't think this will end unless we defeat him. Okay. They fight like demons. 'Tis death to remain. Fall back, brothers. Retreat to the cinders. The cinders? I see no sign of Lady Iceheart. Would that we could have questioned one of them. What would you ask, but we do not already know? They make for the cinders, and so must we. Even should an ambush await us, it is certain there will be more heretics to question. The cinders, you say? I confess the name is unknown to me. Perhaps you would be so good as to enlighten us, Estinian? I suspect it's the heretics' way of referring to the Dreaming Dragon, an island of sorts found in the midst of a frozen lake of ash pool. Some 500 years past, 'tis told, was that the azure dragoon of the age fought a dragon of titanic proportions. After a savage struggle, the mighty creature was weakened unto the point of death and forced into a magic slumber by an entire chapter of the Holy See sorcerers. Ere long, a rain of ash and cinder did begin to fall upon the sleeping serpent's motionless form, covering the creature at length in a shroud of grey. Of course, a thick layer of ice has since formed on top of it, but you may be sure I speak true. A fascinating tale. We should make to this ashen isle. The Dreaming Dragon lies far to the west. Before we approach the frozen beast, however, there is another place I would visit first. I'm told the convictors set up camp in Twin Pools, where leader Gentlelord may have information of use to us. But maybe you're not familiar with that name either. The convictors are dragon slayers, after a fashion, but I'm willing to wager that they encounter their fair share of heretics. If we are indeed walking into a trap, I would learn all there is to know about our foe. That is not dumb. A sound suggestion. Let us speak with these convictors then, and temper our haste with a measure of caution. Well, what do we have here? Hoping to join the esteemed ranks of the convictors, are we? The art at last looks promising, but you have a frail look about you, boy. I give you 3 days, otherwise claim your corpse. I beg your pardon? Be not so quick to judge. I've seen this frail youth fell heretics with a flick of his wrist. And who are you to question my... By the fury! That armor, that lance... The Azure Dragoon himself graces our camp. Pray forgive my disrespect, sir. I'm Gentlelord, leader of the Convictors and fellow slayer of dragons. May I ask what winds, fair or foul, carry you into our humble camp? Lady Iceheart is it? I know her by reputation. But I'm afraid I've seen naught of her or her people. That said, my own men can be somewhat lax when it comes to making reports. You may wish to question yourself. Thank you. We shall. Serenia, Estinian, let us make our way through the camp and see what information there is to be had. do you have? Something that gives an Eva current. I remember you. How could I forget? You're the last who was with the Azure Dragoons Company. Yeah, a second ago, right. Since you're here anyway, perhaps you might like to try your hand at the spot of hunting before you depart? See for yourself what life is like for us convictors. The Dravanian horde is stronger than you might expect. Unless you've been at it for years, like I have, I think it's prudent to start with something simple and then work your way up to dragons. I suggest worms. Slay 3 of those and come back. Consider it a warm-up. So what have you? Okay. Cowards, all of you! Have you no shame at all? Oh, I beg your... Wait, are you not Mistress Shadowstar? Honored Ward of House Fortomb? Praise her alone, surely you will consider my request? Know you the Dusk Vigil? Best and most of a citadel watchtowers built to warn of a hold's approach? It was lost during the calamity, and never victim of the snows. Within the ruins lies a priceless treasure which must needs be reclaimed. I fought to enlist the services of these so-called dragon slayers, but it seems their courage is not as boundless as they would have you believe. But you, madam? You're not one to shy away from danger, am I right? Very good indeed. There's a sculpture of a fury within the Dusk Vigil's chapel. An ice wandle is set in its helmet. I would have you price it free and deliver it to me. Sounds weird for a priest. The vigil is not difficult to find. Simply head north to that bane pool until you come to the gates. Knights may bar your passage, but should you explain who you are, they will grant you leave to enter. Yeah, this dungeon up here. Surely one of these people will have encountered heretics while out hunting. Pray speak with us as many as you can, Zerenia. Very helpful. Looking for heretics, you say? Why don't you go and bother Pierrick or someone? I have enough trouble keeping these preening fobs fed and clothed as it is. It is no business of mine what folks do with themselves out there in the wilds. Someone I can help you with, milady? Maybe. I'm looking for heretics. Heretics, is it? Well, I've never seen one myself, but that ain't to say I haven't heard a thing or two. We would be grateful for any information you can share with us. The gods know we've gleaned precious little from talking to the rest of these people. If it pleases me, lord. I'm Pierrick, a soldier by trade, though not much of one, if I'm honest. It went from the lot of stabbing folk that I took up the spear, see? No, it was by order of Sir Gentlelord's father. Still, as long as I keep paying me wages, I ain't fuzzy as to what they may have me do. Not everyone is as patient as me, though. Plenty of low-born lads who get pressed into service start grumbling before they've seen their second battle. And once they've got to thinking how unfair it all is, then don't take much for the heretics to turn their heads. From what I hear, the simple promise of freedom tends to do it. That may explain how Lady Iceheart was able to expand her following so quickly. Sad to say, some mates of mine gobbled down the heretics' tribe and asked for seconds. Told me we were off to Western Highlands to light a signal fire. That's how you let the heretics know you're serious about joining their ranks, apparently. Send up some purple smoke and the bastards come to you. Is that so? Why then, I'm minded to start a fire. Okay. Purple flame, purple flame. If we are to lure our foes to our position, then we must find a means of producing a signal of purple hue. As it so happens, I once heard the tale of a trapper who dropped the hide of a woolly yak onto his campfire. Aside from the terrible stench, the story also described in detail how the smoke from the smoldering flames was tinged purple. You are a monster hunter of some note, are you not, Serenia? It should prove a trifling task for you to procure a number of hides. We may need to burn more than one ere the heretics notice our beacon. Master Alphino, you and I shall gather wood for the fire. Aye, it will take both of us to find enough dry fuel in this frozen wasteland. Let us meet again at the Dreaming Dragons with the fruits of our labor. Okay. Up here, good. It would seem that collecting firewood is a new experience for Master Alphino. His must have been a privileged upbringing. Have you the hides we need? Here are your hides.
Ah, I should have known it would be you.
Hello, Iceheart.
Word reached me of a struggle with a small but well-armed band of trespassers. Forgive my comrades their hostility. Few come here uninvited, and fewer still with good intent. Now, tell me why you are here.
We wish to speak with you.
So, you seek to stem the Dravanian tide with talk? A romantic notion. If you but knew the truth, the spark which lit the flames of this animosity, you would understand the futility of your quest. Shall I relate it to you? The sordid history my gift has shown me. That which the Holy See has taken such pains to suppress. 'Twas more than a millennium past when an Elizan tribe first sought to claim the lands of Kurthas as its home. Unfortunately for them, Kurthas was already home to dragonkind, and they were not inclined to make way for the invaders. Thus did a bloody war begin. A war which might well have rumbled on until one or the other side was exterminated, had it not been for the resolve of a single woman. That woman's name was Shiva. While those around her fought and died, she attempted to parley with the dragons, and in so doing discovered them to be possessed of profound intelligence and reason. The great worm Hraesvelgar, in particular, so enchanted Shiva that she found herself growing to love the creature, whom her people considered a monster. In the eyes of a near-immortal dragon, however, the fleeting life of an Elezen is as that of a freshly cut rose. Scarce has the flower bloomed before it begins to fade and wither. Such melancholy musings plagued Hraesvelga, who had found in Shiva an unexpected and beloved soulmate. He knew that all too soon, death would snatch her away from him. Unable to bear the thought of their separation, the maid bid the worm consume her, that their spirits might be entwined for eternity.
Does that even work?
Though loath to perform the deed, Hraesvelga ultimately gave in to her plea, and soon thereafter the tale of their ill-fated love spread throughout the two warring factions. No more could they raise blade or claw against one another, knowing that the souls of their kin were so inextricably bound. In the days that followed, man and dragon learned to live in harmony, and together built a nation unlike any the world had ever known. For 200 years did this blissful age of peace continue, as it would to this day, had vilest envy not stirred in the hearts of the Elezen. It is said that worms owe their longevity to the boundless reserves of vitality found within their eyes. And 'twas in this belief that a traitorous band of knights deceived their allies of some 2 centuries, and took by force that which they coveted. Nidhogg, he who now stands poised to unleash his wormlings upon Ishgard, was the great dragon who lost an eye to Elezen treachery. And until he prizes it from the hands of the traitor's progeny, no amount of conciliatory words will stay his fury.
You are wrong, Lady Iceheart. Lest you misunderstand, I do not doubt your vision of the past. 'Tis true that Nidhogg greatly desired to reclaim the Eye. Indeed, it was for that very reason that I kept it with me as I roamed the land, attempting to draw him away from the city.
The Eye.
Good gods!
Until recently, Nidhogg seemed unable to resist its allure and pursued me relentlessly. Needless to say, that is no longer the case. Now, it would seem, he has fixed his attention on Ishgard itself, though he knows full well the Eye does not reside there.
So what else is he looking for?
You believe he targets the capital for another reason?
I do.
I believe reason has all but left him. Through the Eye, I feel much of what Nidhogg feels, and the dragon's thirst for vengeance will not be quenched by aught less than a sea of blood.
If Nidhogg is indeed lost to reason, might we not seek an audience with Hraesvelga instead? He has thus far shown no inclination to aid in the invasion of Ishgard, and may yet welcome our efforts to broker a peace.
You still believe that a peaceable solution can be found? Very well.
Thank
I
you.
will take you to him. Our road will lead us to Dravania, the homeland of dragonkind. There we shall ascend unto the clouds, where Hraesvelga resides.
What's going on? I mean, yeah, the echo, but... crystal has regained its light, but it looks like the light is coming from me instead of to me, as it was before. Interesting.
Is aught amiss, my friend? I sense the many battles are beginning to take their toll. Rest a while, and should you lose sight of us, Dravania lies beyond the mountains to the west.
Curious. The vestiges of thy mistress's blessing are not as faint as once they were. Thy will to succeed grants thee unusual fortitude. But will it be enough?
That remains to be seen. And an ether current. Be on your guard, warrior of light. With a mistress of the heretics as our guide, we may yet find that we are being led to our graves. We might, yes. The journey to the homeland of the dragons, Serenia. The scholar within me burns to see the sights I have but read about. Left us the child within me. You are Serenia, yes? Pray address me as Ysaile if you wish. 'Tis passing strange, is it not, that fate should bring us together thus? Never did I think to walk alongside the warrior of light. But history is full of such unexpected alliances. Shall we make our way into Dravania then? The chill of the western highlands is unrelenting, and I would sooner be under the sheltering canopy of a chocobo forest. Where do we go from here? Hinterlands, but I believe to reach this place I actually need to learn to fly. So I think I end this episode, and note from later, the Dravanian hinterlands are actually currently locked at this time. We get access to that area quite a bit later. It's two missing. Let me turn in the quests. There's another one. What's that? Yeah, you have the last ether current I was wondering about. Okay. And the last ether current is for doing the dungeon. We do that next episode. Until then, I'm Mace and don't get lost.